The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
It's over! Fly, Eagles, fly!
Celebrate the big win with the official licensed Super Bowl champions gear. Available now at NFLshop.com.
The Eagles win it! Super Bowl 59!
From jerseys to hats to must-have collectibles, we've got everything you need to rep your team with pride. Don't wait. These styles won't last. Shop now at NFLshop.com and gear up like a champion.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
KFI AM 640. It's Later with Mo Kelly. And we're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And let me just say off the top, my hips are hurting me. My legs are sore. I did a lot of running this weekend. A lot of freaking running. Okay? Tim Conway Jr. wasn't completely wrong. Maybe I need to give this stuff up. But I was officiating youth basketball in two different cities. Saturday, I was in Redondo Beach at Aviation Gym. And Sunday, I was at Manhattan Beach Middle School doing mostly girls basketball on Sunday and boys basketball on Saturday. But there were some girls games I was doing on Saturday, and I got to start here. I don't know what is wrong with parents today, but I understand when I see the kids and they grow up messed up because the parents are messed up too. I'm officiating this game, and you have teams when they start the season, they have 8 or 9 players. And then over the course of the year, the season, I should say, you have players who have other activities that they're in. They have other responsibilities. So they end up doing something else on a given Saturday. And teams may only show up with 5 players. In this league, you're allowed to play with 4 players. In other words, you can have 5 players. Someone could foul out, and you can continue to play with 4 players. It's in the rules. Now, if the other team should show up with 8 or 9 players like they're supposed to, and everyone actually comes to play the game, it's not that team's fault that your team didn't show up with as many players as possible. I had finished this one game, and I'm not going to call out the particular team or the particular mother, but if you were there, you know exactly to whom I am referring. There was a team that only had 5 players to start. The other team, I think, had maybe 7 or 8 players. The team who had 5 players, they were getting their ass kicked. And on top of getting their ass kicked, one of their players had fouled out. And in this league, they are allowed 6 fouls as opposed to 5. Usually when you're playing youth sports, you get 5 fouls. In this league, they were given 6 fouls. They even had 1 to grow on, as you say. 6 fouls. This player fouls out. The team, they're behind. They only have 4 players. The mother of, and you're allowed to keep playing with 4 players. So the mother of the team's best player who was getting their ass kicked decides to come on the court. This is like late third quarter. And we're thinking like, what the hell are you doing, woman? She comes over to the table to stop the game. She said, my daughter is tired. It's not fair that they only have 4 players. Why is it you don't ask the other team to get rid of one of their players so they can continue to play 4-on-4 so it's fair? I looked at this woman. I said, you have lost your G-damn mind. The team, your daughter's team, fouled out a person. That's the rules. Why am I going to penalize the other team because your team sucks and you didn't bring everyone and one of your players fouled out and now you're playing 5-on-4? You're allowed to take your crumb snatcher with you and leave, but that means you only have 3 players and then we'd have to call a forfeit. Now, what you want to do? But for me, it highlighted just the privilege and the presumption that, well, everything has to be fair. Why is it they have 5 players and we only have 4? Well, if you understood the rules, you had 6 fouls. The kid fouled 6 times. We got rid of the kid, so now you have 5-on-4. We could have forfeited the game there because, honestly, the league is being nice, saying that you're allowed to continue to play with 4 players. But you didn't like that because it was unfair. Well, what happened to all the other girls who were on the team? You had at least 7 or 8 players. 3 of them didn't show up. And now you're going to penalize the team that's whooping your ass because one of your players fouled out? It was just indicative. I understand why kids grow up with this unhealthy sense of things that should be just granted to them, where they just expect certain things. So they want to complain about things not being fair. What do we always talk about? Fair. What the hell is fair?
Fair does not exist. Fair is only in the realm of fantasy.
And they still got their ass whooped. I mean, it was like really, really embarrassing. There was almost a fight between the coaches. And if you've ever officiated a girls' basketball game, they foul the hell out of each other. There's a lot of slapping, unintentional hair pulling, elbowing. I say that to say it's very easy for someone to end up with 6 fouls in a girls' basketball game. So if you were at Aviation Gym yesterday in Redondo Beach, you know about this incident, and you probably will wonder, like, wait a minute, which one was Mo? I was the black referee in the small gym, okay? I told you I was going to be there. And it got so bad, we stopped the game for about 20 minutes while she demanded to hear from one of the facility managers. Stop the game. I said, I want to speak to someone in charge. One of those. She went straight Karen.
Wow.
She went straight Karen.
She wants to speak to the manager?
Yes. Wow. I kid you not. At that point, I sat my black ass down on the chair and I said, I'm going to let this happen. And so they started yelling and arguing and she said something to the other team's coach. So I'm like, it's because of your ego that we're in this. And I thought they were going to fight. I said, please fight. Please fight. Oh, please fight. Because I was sitting down in the ref's chair and I had my phone out and ready. I said, I want to go viral on World Star Hip Hop. Just please, somebody throw a punch. But that's the sad state of youth athletics to today. I mean, it was fun. It's great. Check this out, Twal. You know I'm always getting my steps in.
Yeah.
I did 7 games on Saturday, and they're all about an hour. I got more than 31,000 steps on Saturday. I taught 3 classes of Hapkido.
Jeez.
I did 7 games of youth basketball. And then the next day, I did 4 more in Manhattan Beach, but that was easy. That was Manhattan Beach Middle School, and they were middle school girls, but they were much more well-behaved than what I had to deal with in Redondo Beach. So if you were at Aviation Gym on Saturday, you know what I'm talking about, and Manhattan Beach Middle School on Sunday. But I love doing it because it keeps me young, and I get paid for it. I don't need the money, but it's just one of those things where I hate running, but I like watching basketball and officiating basketball. And so if you're going to throw a few dollars in my pocket while I'm running up and down the court, why not? But I was so disgusted at this parent yesterday. She was full on Karen.
I am shocked you are not up here in a wheelchair. That's a lot of running back and forth.
But Mark Ronner can attest to this. When he walked in, you saw that I wasn't even sitting in my chair. I was standing up at the desk. I had a makeshift standing desk because it hurts to sit down.
Is that why those boxes?
Yes. Yes.
Well, the good news is that they've made great advancements in hip replacement surgery, so men of your age can be back as good as new in almost no time.
I've had enough friends who've gotten hip replacement. I would not be able to do the stuff that I do. It would just be, it helps with day-to-day living, but you're not going to go back out and do Hapkido.
Just get it all done at once. The hip, the teeth, do whatever you need
I've already
to do.
done the teeth.
Oh.
My dog. I did the teeth during COVID.
Okay.
I'm almost a bionic man now.
All right.
Stronger. Longer.
Yeah, you're like
Faster.
the Bucky Barnes of KFI.
That's right.
You can just take your stuff off.
That aside, we have a huge show for you tonight. I am not kidding. We have to talk about Hooters, which is presently circling the drain. I'm somewhat sad, like a single tear's coming down my cheek. Hooters may be gone. Tawala Sharp is not mad when I talk about that. Starbucks is laying off 1,100 employees and cutting off 30% of its menu items. Tawala would say probably God don't like ugly. What goes around comes around. KFI AM 640, we're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
It's over! Fly, Eagles, fly!
Celebrate the big win with the official licensed Super Bowl champions gear. Available now at NFLshop.com.
The Eagles win it! Super Bowl 59!
From jerseys to hats to must-have collectibles, we've got everything you need to rep your team with pride. Don't wait. These styles won't last. Shop now at NFLshop.com and gear up like a champion.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Radio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And we've been telling you part of the tragedy surrounding the fires is the lack of temporary housing. Saying nothing of the lack of permanent housing, trying to make people whole again, making sure that they can at least get back to where they were. And it's an incremental process. But in that process is finding a place to stay, at least temporarily, beyond the hotel. Okay. Where are you going to be for the next 6 months or so? The hotel is not a realistic or viable option. So there are literally hundreds, thousands of people, I would say, arguably, who are looking for temporary housing. And because we all know this to be true, the scammers are out there. And there are scammers who are targeting victims of wildfires with, get this, fake online rental properties. This is not a novel idea, the idea of you supposedly offering something for sale or rental, and then they take your money, get you signed paperwork, whatever, and then it disappears. But this is all the way fraudulent. And I can only imagine how many people have been taken after losing everything. You didn't have much to give in the first place. And then someone's going to take you for what little you have left, if anything at all. And it's in the form of different websites. And if if you are interested in renting a property which is being advertised, you'll click that you're interested and you're directed to the scammer. Then you interact with a scammer, and that's when they set you up to make this illegal payment, steal your money, and disappear on you. The listing looks somewhat credible and reasonable enough for you to inquire. Since that there is a massive shortage in housing, short-term and long-term, you're probably going to be more aggressive in that pursuit than you normally would. And since you know that housing is at a premium, if I understand why people would think, well, that seems like a reasonable listing. Gosh, I have to get out the next 3 days. Let me see if I can lock this down. And maybe they ask for some sort of a deposit of $500 or something. I'm just spitballing here, but I can imagine how people would be more inclined to give up money under a short amount of time because they don't have time, and then they get taken. Tawala, I know you know of a lot of people who are struggling just to find temporary housing. I know that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I also know how many listings popped up immediately after. And when I look at just even this listing here to see that there was this 2-bed, 2-bath house listed for $3,000 a month, that right there is too good to be true, considering I've seen, 1-bedroom and singles listed for slightly more than $3,000.
Yes.
So if you are in a position where, say, you do not have adequate fire insurance or fire insurance, period, and you are at your wit's end, you are at your last draw, FEMA funding is not taking care of you the way that you needed to, and you have just enough to jump in an opportunity like this, I know bunches and bunches of people who would, which is why I truly hope that there is a razor blade slide all the way down into an alcohol bath type hell for the individuals who are perpetrating a crime like this.
But the one you mentioned with the 2-bedroom, 2-bath house listed at $3,000 a month, for you and me and most people will say, no, that can't be. And even if it were real, there are going to be 11 people trying to get it.
Absolutely.
And most likely not available. But on the surface, it looked reasonable enough. It was on Zillow and other real estate platforms. It had 37 pictures, a full-blown listing, page-long description. On its face, it looked reasonable that people took the time to put up a seemingly legitimate listing. I understand if you were to then get into contact with the scammer, they'll probably ask for some sort of security deposit or something to hold the listing.
Easily. Even if it was $5,000 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath right now, even if it was that, it can still be fake. I don't care what it is. They are perpetrating the highest level of fraud with this by just And here's what's really bad is that these property owners, in this case, the owner was like, why are people coming and checking out one of my properties in Pasadena? Something weird is going on. For him to go online and say like, wow, someone listed my place, and are basically using his listing, a previous listing, to just go on and then circle it back to a scam site. Man,
people do not surprise me at all. I'm actually surprised that we're not seeing more examples of this. Maybe there are, and people are ashamed and too afraid to come forward. But I would not be surprised if this is rampant around Southern California, and maybe this is just one of the times in which we're hearing about it. But every step of the way during this crisis and tragedy, people have tried to criminalize it and monetize it, from the looting on down. You know, every step of the way, there is someone trying to play an angle to make money off of other people's pain.
This is why, and when we talked about this last week, this is why I said that with the emergency funding that Governor Newsom secured for victims of the wildfires, and with all that Mayor Bass is claiming she's looking to do, this is why I said the city and state should take control of putting people into homes. That way you have a city-backed organization, a state-backed organization that is taking these emergency funds and identifying actual individuals who have been displaced, or currently displaced, and will be displaced for the next 6 months to a year, identifying them and going out and getting the places themselves. The city should be getting these places. We shouldn't have to be relying on Scammer Joe and Take Advantage of You Tom. No, we should be able to go to a single outlet, be it FEMA, whoever, and say, hey, you're out of your house. Let's go on and put you into a place. We've got it set up. It's taken care of. We understand you're underinsured. You have no insurance. We are going to take care of it, so this doesn't have to happen. Where's Mayor Bass's office to make sure that this isn't happening?
Well, I can't answer questions for you that I don't have the answer for.
Can I throw in here?
Sure.
Somebody tried that exact scam on me just a short time ago, a few weeks ago.
Please explain.
Be extra vigilant if you're looking at listings on Craigslist. I kind of search around for places just like I do for cars. I'm not in a hurry for anything. But if the right thing comes along, I'm ready to go. So I found a listing for a nice loft in the not the fashion district, but close downtown. And I couldn't go see it because the guy made up some excuse about the person in it having a death in the family. It'd be open to view in a couple of months. But if you want to put a deposit down on it now.
That you can't see.
We went back and forth for a while before the guy dropped the deposit thing. So this is a pretty polished operation. But as soon as I said, well, I won't be leaving a deposit on a place I haven't seen yet, but if you want to get in touch with me when I can look at it, not a word after that. You must be careful with these people because some of them are very clever.
Great advice. It's Later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And all the men in the studio will probably drop a tear because Hooters is on its way out.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
If you like what you see here on the outside, you're gonna love what you'll see on the inside. The recipe for Hooters chicken wings is so secret, even our cooks aren't allowed to know it. Do you know why our beer is so cold here at Hooter? Because we keep it in the refrigerator. Hey kids, you want to do your dad a really big favor? Tell your mom you want to go to Hooters.
KFI AM 640 is later with Mo Kelly. We are live everywhere, the iHeartRadio app. Doesn't that commercial bring back fond memories? It does for me.
Do you have many Hooters memories? Because I don't.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I had one friend in Seattle suggest we go to Hooters once, and I thought, well, that's kind of weird for an adult to ask me if I want to do that. Why would I do that?
Mark. It's very much, think of it this way. Have you ever gone in your closet and looked at some clothes and like realized, I'm never going to wear that again? You know, that's like a Michael Jackson jacket. It's 2025. That was great for 1984. It does, not only does it not physically fit, it doesn't fit in a societal sense.
So Hooters is going the way of the Cosby sweater is what you're saying.
That I think of more like you got the dolphin shorts and the nylons. It's a part of a bygone era. It's not, think of it this way. Porky's, hilarious movie.
But
it's probably not funny in today terms. If you put Porky's out now, it probably would not be the knee slapper big picture that it was for us when we saw it in the 80s.
Well, the thing is, Porky's wasn't bled dry by a private equity firm like Hooters was.
Why you got to take all the fun out of it, Mark?
Dang, Mark.
All I'm saying is Hooters time has come and go in the sense that like John Hughes films, they probably don't have the same type of effect today and cultural relevance that they did in 1986. I don't think you could actually walk up in a post-Me Too era and say, hey, I got this great idea for a restaurant. We're going to have scantily clad women in nylons and dolphin shorts and push up their breasts and have them slinging hot wings. That probably is not the greatest marketing idea out there in 2025. I'm not surprised that they were struggling in a marketing and a merchandising and a revenue sense. It had its time.
It did.
And you were never embarrassed?
Dude, how
for going to Hooters?
Yeah.
Hell no.
You think those women who worked there wanted you there? Do you think they liked you?
You know, I wish I had time to call one of my friends who was Miss Hooters, who won the national pageant.
Oh, I beg you. Please do it.
I'll see if I can get her on the show. She's married with 2 kids now, but, you know, Hooters was a big thing beyond just the restaurants.
Yeah, when it opened,
they had calendars and everything.
They opened in Pasadena. It was a big deal. It was a cool place to go. It was a happening, trendy bar. Hooters is the one in Pasadena in Old Town, Colorado. When it first opened, it was packed. It was packed with men and women. It was just a cool place to go. I knew a woman that worked there. She used to work there and she used to recruit. She recruited at Hooters for the after hours gentleman club that she worked at.
The only reason we're talking about this is because Bloomberg News has reported that the U.S. arm of Hooters is going to restructure through Chapter 11, and that means they're probably going to close most of their restaurants. They're trying to address $300 million of debts, and Hooters is not a growth business at this point. We can agree on that, right? I mean, last year Hooters closed around 40 quote-unquote underperforming restaurants in Florida, Kentucky, Rhode Island, Texas, and Virginia. And if Hooters doesn't work down south, you know, in those states, it probably is not going to work anywhere. You would think that's their biggest audience.
That was my thought, because I'm like, okay, I can see California, but damn, those states, right. If it doesn't make it there, where is it going to make it?
It's just, it's not of this time anymore. Yeah. I don't know if you can really advertise a business like that anymore. What are you going to advertise? That they're changing their uniform to like tracksuits or something? That was the whole allure, where you have women in skimpy clothing and walking around with the push-up bras. You know, they were ridiculous then because they're wearing nylons and white socks and tank tops. It was ridiculous, over the top.
My first newspaper job, I had to review restaurants, and I was sent to review Hooters once. And it was so awkward. I asked the waitresses, all right, what's the deal here? What's the etiquette on all this setup here? Where am I supposed to look? What do you want?
It's quasi strip club, but not like a strip club. You go to a strip club, the people who are walking around, usually they'll ask you, hey, so you want a table dance? You know, they're encouraging that type of interaction. Now, there are servers at strip club and there are workers at strip club. And when you go to Hooters, it's almost like they want you to have that strip club feel, but you're not supposed to interact with the waitresses as if they're strippers.
Yeah, you're discouraged from making it rain at a Hooters.
You are, but
go ahead, T. I know where you're going.
Yes, please.
But you can make sure you tip very, very well.
There was a lot of crossover.
You were encouraged to tip, and there was a lot of crossover.
There were people who worked at Hooters in the daytime and at the strip club nighttime.
Yes. Do you know there's a spinoff, a Hooter spinoff?
No.
There's one in Pasadena. It's one in Pasadena over by the post office. It's called Hoots.
No. Are you serious?
I kid you not. It's called Hoots. It's Hoots Wings by Hooters. It's like a almost like
a mini version?
Like a mini version. Yes, like a stop by. You just go in to get some wings and food. So it's like they're just selling the food. It's like the food without the women. So they call it Hoots.
What's the point of that?
I guess they think the food is good.
So it's not a sit down.
No. They have it's almost like is that like you can go and sit down at a Taco Bell. You know, like there are a few seats in there, but you don't want to go sit in Hoots. But yeah, Hoots by Hooters. There's one. I just know because I saw it. I said to myself, Hoots. They have the exact same owl and sign and logo as Hooters. And I went in. I was like, oh, it's Hoots by Hooters.
Yeah, I haven't been to a Hooters in at least 15 years, and the last one I went to was down in Long Beach, near the Pike. Yeah, I was karaoke hosting. There was a Hooters right next there, and I would go there every once in a while. The food was never good. The service was horrible. The women were not all that attractive, and I said, okay, this is false advertising.
Anybody who claimed that they went to Hooters because they liked the food had zero credibility, like somebody who claimed to read Playboy for the articles.
No, those wings were good.
Okay, I read the articles too, but
you're by yourself on that one.
Look,
there's always that one guy.
I like the wings, the blue cheese. I like the wings. They're not that bad.
I didn't care for the service or any of it. It's like, okay, the marketing is way better than the actual product. And now at this point, there are other places where you can find scantily clad women and decent food. I don't know where that is, but I'm saying I'm quite sure there is a place now.
You know, to turn you off, a funky Hooters girl. One walked by with one of them trays up. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, take this Hooter backstage and clean them off. Oh, it was funky. A funky Hooter is nasty.
I'm just going to go to break before I say something really out of line.
Just take the station off the air.
It's later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. We have a Starbucks update, and it's all bad. All bad. And I think Tuala Sharp put the hex on them because he had stopped going to Starbucks many years ago, and he put the hex on them, and now it has come to fruition. Starbucks is also going through some serious...
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
It's over! Fly, Eagles, fly!
Celebrate the big win with the official licensed Super Bowl champions gear. Available now at NFLshop.com.
The Eagles win it! Super Bowl 59!
From jerseys to hats to must-have collectibles, we've got everything you need to rep your team with pride. Don't wait. These styles won't last. Shop now at NFLshop.com and gear up like a champion.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Serious troubles. We'll tell you about it next.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
I do not have a dog in this fight. I don't drink coffee. I never have. I know, Mark Ronner, you always remind me I must be weird or something.
You must hate America.
I do not drink coffee, and it's not a conscious choice. It's just a habit I never developed. Coffee was had in my house every single morning by my parents. It was a ritual for them. It was just something I never gravitated to. I'm not a morning person. So when I get up in the morning, I could use some sort of stimuli to get me going. But I don't even drink tea with the exception of when my voice is struggling. I need something to just soothe my throat.
Well, then what do you do in the morning? Just flagellate yourself like the guy in the Da Vinci Code? How do you wake up?
Slowly, angrily.
Me too.
A lot of profanity. I'm being serious. When I wake up in the morning, I often feel physically ill. It is a very unpleasant process. I say all that to say, despite all that, I've never had any desire to drink coffee. So I've never had a relationship with Starbucks or any other place that sells coffee. But I will say this. Starbucks has announced that it's laying off 1,100 corporate employees, and they're also streamlining their menu. And I knew when Starbucks was really starting to blow up that it was probably going to go the way of Boston Market. Remember how Boston Market was like the biggest thing around, and they were opening up restaurants everywhere. And I said, that's going to cool off. That's not sustainable. And then all of a sudden you saw the contraction where they had to start closing all the Boston Market restaurants. I don't know where one is anymore. And I think the same thing is going to happen to Starbucks.
Starbucks announcing job cuts today. CEO Brian Nichols says Starbucks will lay off more than 1,100 corporate workers as it tries to turn around its business. The company will also reportedly eliminate several hundred open and unfilled positions. In addition, the coffee chain plans to cut about 30% of its food and beverage offerings over the next few months in order to streamline operations.
It was trying to do too much too fast in too many places.
Well, they also have to account for or make up for CEO Brian Nichols' $100 million in pay. You don't just skim that off the top.
Well, that's always the way. If there are going to be cuts, it's not going to be the CEO. It's always going to be the underlings.
Well, and of course, he deserves every penny of that through his hard work.
I wonder how many people could be paid full-time salary and full benefits. Let's just half that $100 million.
Gary Oldman to yell, everyone.
How much of it went to his failed presidential campaign?
Oh, I don't know.
You're talking about Howard Schultz.
Yeah, that's Howard
Schultz. Was Schultz?
Yeah. Yeah, Starbucks hired Nichols last fall to, quote unquote, turn around sluggish sales. So instead of, taking a pay cut, he just fired 1,100 people.
Well, you couldn't expect the guy to squeak by on $50 million, for God's sakes. What are we, savages here?
I do know that I understand why they're at least cutting the menu by 30% because they're trying to sell too many things. They were selling music. They were selling soap, I think. They were selling all sorts of things that had nothing to do with Starbucks. And also they were trying to sell the Starbucks experience where you come in, sit down with your laptop, hang out with your friends, conduct your meetings. And they took that back as well. So there's no reason to go to Starbucks for the most part if you're just going to go to grab your coffee and go. You can't linger. You can't spend extra money. I know if you let me hang out for an hour, I'll buy something probably twice, but you don't want me to stay, so I'm not going to buy anything.
This is a perfect opportunity for anyone that's looking to open up one of those marijuana cafes. Perfect opportunity. There's about to be a whole lot of real estate available that all you got to do is come in and set up shop.
If you already have the marijuana dispensary license, just sell some refreshments. It could be Folgers coffee. It doesn't matter. Just allow people to hang out, smoke a dub. Let the money roll in.
Let it roll.
Nachos. You have to sell nachos.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
That's another vice I don't have. I don't do weed and I don't do coffee, so those places have nothing for me.
You can sell the edible food, the brownies. You can sell burgers, marijuana burgers.
Marijuana burgers.
There is such thing.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no, I'm so dead serious. Burgers, the infused chicken. Yeah, the marijuana infused
Stefan
chicken.
is like nodding his head. All right, what firsthand knowledge do you have, Stefan?
One of my friends actually used to make, brownies are the obvious ones, but she used to make like cookies because they have cannabis butter. And so you just put that into the ingredients, and then that's how we fuse the cannabis into it. And depending on how much you use, it could either just be like a relaxing kind of high, or it could really make you trip depending on how you lay out the recipe.
I need you guys to explain the sequence to me, though, because marijuana gives you the munchies. Why would you want marijuana in the food that you're eating? Is it going to make you hungry later as well?
No, it's not like they're super dousing it. It's just kind of infused, like they use different butters, different oils to cook the foods.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of like, it gives you just a natural kind of easy kind of feeling. You're enjoying your food a lot.
It's different from like taking a gummy or taking a hit because that's straight weed. But if you're doing it through, like he said, chicken or cookies, things like that, it doesn't really affect you too much.
Well, I think we're going to have somebody bring some in for us to test drive.
Kentucky Fried Cannabis.
There you go.
Nice.
Maybe this is another thing of my weirdness. I didn't have any real desire for marijuana ever, even with edibles. One, as far as smoking, I never had any desire to smoke, even cigarettes and nicotine. So the idea of smoking weed was not attractive to me at all. And I hated the smell. Still hate the smell. It's just pungent to me. And I don't have a strong sense of smell, but I smell that. Even with the friends I do have who eat edibles, like they walk in the room, it's like, ooh, I can smell it on you. I can just
smell it everywhere now. You smell it in the post office. Everybody smells like weed now. It's inescapable. You, as an Amish man, picked the wrong time to be offended by that smell.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm Amish. I happen to like my technology and I happen to like, living in the 21st century. So I wouldn't characterize myself as Amish, but I would say that I would be considered a prude by most definitions. But that is, if you don't know my music industry history, I'm a prude now. Now, shut up to all.
No. Yes.
Now.
Right now. Just make sure we're clear.
That's right.
Right now.
Going forward.
Yes.
KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
If it doesn't affect you, we're not interested.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
It's over! Fly, Eagles, fly!
Celebrate the big win with the official licensed Super Bowl champions gear. Available now at NFLshop.com.
The Eagles win it! Super Bowl 59!
From jerseys to hats to must-have collectibles, we've got everything you need to rep your team with pride. Don't wait. These styles won't last. Shop now at NFLshop.com and gear up like a champion.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.